Hey guys, James here from eBassGuitar, and in today's bass guitar lesson, I'm going to show you how to play blues bass guitar in less than 10 minutes. If you're a beginner to intermediate bass player, make sure you check out this lesson all the way to the end. Hey guys, it's James here from eBassGuitar, and whenever a new beginner to intermediate student joins my program, the Bass Lab Plus, over at eBassGuitar.com, there's always one course I suggest they take straight away to lay the foundation, and that's a course called the Rookie Blues Bass Intensive. The reason being for that is learning blues bass playing, in my opinion, is the most powerful thing any bass player can do in the early phases of learning. The reason for this is the 12-bar blues sequence is found in countless styles of music, from early rock and roll through to 70s classic rock, from walking bass and jazz through to funk, from pop to country music. You will find the classic 12-bar blues sequence. So it's something that all bass players should know. What's more is it's super easy to get going on, particularly if you want to play at a jam session. So what I'm going to do today is show you how you can learn blues bass and the foundations of playing blues in less than 10 minutes. So let me play you a quick example of what we're going to learn today. So guys, before we hit the lesson content today, I want you to know that there is a completely free PDF that comes with this lesson. So if you want to see everything we're discussing today written out in standard notation and tab, please click the link in the description below. Also, the backing track we are using today is called Jake's Blues, and you can get this as part of the eBassGuitar Blues Jam backing track album, which is 12 blues backing tracks designed especially for blues bass guitar. So if you want to grab your copy of that, make sure you head over to eBassGuitar and check out the products menu there. The first thing we need to do to learn blues as a bass guitar player is zoom out and make sure we completely understand how the 12-bar blues sequence is constructed. The great news about the 12-bar blues sequence in its most basic form is it only has 3 chords in it, and in the case of Jake's Blues, we're in the key of G, and this means our 3 chords are going to be a G, a C, and a D. You might also hear these referred to as chords 1, chords 4, and chords 5 as well. This is all written out in the free PDF which comes with the lesson. So what I want you to do is look at the shape this creates on the neck to begin with. I look at it as a little mini L shape, and this is really, really important. So the G is there, the C is there, and the D is there. So once we understand these 3 notes, what we want to do is create the 12-bar blues sequence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this 4 bars at a time. So let's deal with bars 1 to 4 to begin with. So we're going to start off with 1 bar of G, then we're going to go to 1 bar of C, then we're going to go back to 2 bars of G. So that's 1 bar of G, 1 bar of C, and then 2 bars of G. So let's look at bars 5 to 8 now. What we're going to do is go to 2 bars of C, and then back to 2 bars of G. And then let's look at the last 4 bars now. So bars 9 to 12. We're going to go to chord 5 for the first time for a bar, or the D chord. And then we're going to go to the C chord for a bar. And then we're going to go to the G chord for a bar, and then back to the D chord for a bar. So that's a bar of D, bar of C, bar of G, bar of D, like that. And now we have completed the whole sequence. We have 3 fundamental chords, and we have the basic hand shape here, which gives us the 3 notes. So what I want to do is play the whole sequence by myself so you can hear it in context. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the foundation to blues bass. What I'm going to do now is play it with Jake's Blues. I'm going to fill it out now, so you have two choices with what you could do now. Is you could play straight quarter notes, so that would work perfectly well, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put eighth notes to it, because that has a little bit more punch and drive to it. It would sound like this. Like that. So let's hear it with a backing track so you know what it sounds like in context. Don't forget, if you're struggling with speed there, just strip it back to one note per beat, because the most important thing at all times when playing the blues is to highlight the chord changes really strongly. Now, once you're comfortable with the basic 12-bar blues sequence, the next stage is to put some riffs to it. And I'm going to show you how to create two riffs now. The first one is based on a concept called Triads, and the second one is based on an idea called the box shape. And these are really fundamental. So the Triad idea sounds like this. And you'll discover this in loads of 50s and early 60s rock and roll. So it's a great one to know. And this starts on a second finger and uses the root, the third, the fifth, and the third again of each respective chord. So I'm going to take you through the three notes of each chord and then apply it to the blues sequence. So it starts with a G, a B, a D, and then a G, and then a C, an E, a G, and an E again, and then back to chord one, or the G chord, is going to be a G, a B, a D, and a B, like that. And then to get to chord 5, it's going to be a D, an F sharp, an A, and an F sharp, like that. So once more, so. So what we want to do is apply this one bar riff to the whole of the blues sequence. So it's going to sound like this. So 2 bars of C, so 2 bars of G, to a bar of D, to a bar of C, to a bar of G, to a bar of D, like that. So let's apply this to the whole of the track now so you can hear what it sounds like in context. So guys, if you're enjoying this lesson, make sure you jump over to eBassGuitar.com and check out the Bass Lab Plus, where there's a full program for the beginner to intermediate bass player, which is fundamentally really easy to understand. Specifically, there is a course in there called the Rookie Blues Bass Intensive, which we've already touched on, where you're going to learn how to apply multiple different variations of the blues sequence, how to play it in different styles, how to approach playing fills, riffs, turnarounds, and how to transpose the sequence. There is so much in that one course which leads on from the foundations which we've set in this lesson. So you can join the Bass Lab Plus free today with a 14-day trial. Just click the link in the description below or head over to eBassGuitar.com. So to finish the lesson off, I want to show you how to create a riff using the box shape. And the box shape for me is one of the most important shapes that all bass players need to know on the neck, because it contains what I call the 4 power notes, which are really, really strong in every style of music. So the box shape uses the root, a G, the 5th, a D, the flattened 7th, an F, and the octave, which is a G. So that looks like this on the neck, which kind of has this box feel to it. So what we can do is create bass lines using those 4 power notes. And what I'm going to do is just use a very simple bass line going directly up that. So we're going to do the root, the 5th, the flattened 7th, and the octave like that. And I'm going to play 2 notes on each beat to give a little bit more excitement. So we're going to go G, G, D, D, F, F, G, G, like that. And what we can do is just move this shape around the neck through all 3 of the chords which land on our first finger. So all we have to do is directly move this shape down a string and play it in C. Like that. Don't forget, this is all written out in the PDF which comes with the lesson, and then we can put it into D as well by just shifting it down 2 frets to D like this. So that is literally how simple it is to move this idea around the neck. For me, the box shape has a slightly more bluesy sound to the triads that we used earlier, so it's a great alternative to experiment. So let's discuss what this sounds like when we put it through the blues sequence. So we're going to do a bar of G, to a bar of C, back to 2 bars of G, to 2 bars of G, C even, to back to 2 bars of G, to a bar of D, to a bar of C, to a bar of G, to a bar of D. Like that. So there are so many possibilities. What I'm going to do now is play that with the track. But there's one more little bonus idea that I'm just going to plant with you now. In the blues sequence, you will often hear an idea called stabs. And stabs are where we play 1 note on the beginning of each bar, which sounds like this. Bum, 2, 3, 4. Bum, 2, 3, 4. Bum, 2, 3, 4. Bum, 2, 3. It's often a little moment where you can let the guitarist or the singer shine a bit, and puts a little bit of interest and excitement in the music. So you're going to hear that in the backing track too. So I just wanted to let you know what was going on there. So I'm going to play you this idea based on the box shape, then I'm going to break out a little bit and start experimenting with the ideas that we've covered today. guys, that's the end of today's blues bass guitar lesson. If you've enjoyed this lesson, make sure you download the free PDF which comes with this lesson so you can see everything we discussed today written out in standard notation and tab. There is a link in the description below. Also, if you're looking to push the contents of this lesson on to the next stage, make sure you jump over to eBassGuitar.com and check out the Bass Lab Plus membership. This is an end-to-end program designed especially for beginner to intermediate bass players, and there's a full blues course inside too. So make sure you click the link in the description below to join free today with a 14-day trial. Cheers, I've been James from eBassGuitar.com. I'll catch you next time.